things could be true. I'm not backtracking on anything else I said. I would go. I'm not going to not admit that. Same thing. I don't like doing things for free. If someone said, like, come to be the bartender on Watch What Happens, I would do that. I'm not really interested in spending all the time to get there, but I would be there because
Yeah.
it's a
Oh,
great platform. Like
the
I'm
things
not, I'm
that
not too
all
proud to beg.
and I'll do things now knowing I might get a good stand-up story out of it.
Oh,
But there's also
totally.
things I turn down where I go, my time is worth more than that, hombre. You can't like there are things I turn down when the juice isn't worth the squeeze that I might have been
Like
desperate
what?
to
Like
do.
what's something you
Well,
turned
I got
down? I
asked
mean, I
recently.
turned, yeah.
I just got asked recently from somebody, and they meant well, but they wanted me to voice a character in some documentary that they were doing. They needed a voice, and in my head, I'm like, you can pay me to do this. Is not going to be worth my time. It'd have to be like a lot of money. It's just like it provides me no value. It's whatever. It was asked to be on a game show recently. No, why? No. But like to do a podcast, to grow my thing, to do all that. Yes, 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 yes. Like so, when you're trying to sell your baked goods, you'll bring the donuts to anybody. Where can I sell this shit? I'm trying to sell Rush Hour podcast. Where can I bring it? And what I think what you learn is be authentic to who you are. Try not to please everybody. Like I don't need to please every political spectrum. You watch my podcast or listen to it, you're going to know where I lean. And there's enough people within that niche that you can live off of. And that's kind of like the world we live in, where like you don't have to be for everybody. Be the best. Be the best version of you, and the right people will find it if you make sure to get yourself out there enough.
I agree. And saying no is good. Then we could wrap up. Like same thing. So I've had, you talk about YouTube. We'll bring it back to the beginning. I do these interviews. My interviews have been used on Housewives, other shows. They have to call you when they want to take a clip of yours from YouTube. Back in the day, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be on this show. Like this is, oh, listen, it depends on the show and everything. But now it's like, okay, so call me. Like, let's talk about, here's how I mean, PayPal's fine, Venmo. I also take a check. And they're like, what? And I'm like, well, you need me to sign this. You cannot use my likeliness and you want to use my clip. No, so I will not say, unless there's some random, you have to pay me these days. Like, no, I'm not saying like, but I used to say, yes, sure. Oh my God, I'm going to be on a clip of, I don't know, Bachelor Nation. Or I'm like, no, you need to, because like Bravo uses a lot of podcasts these
Oh,
days.
totally. Now, yeah, for me, it's like
Now, mind you, when I
money.
say pay, it's not like we're still like there's a limit where they'll say no. I mean, so you're just like, okay, great. I'm sitting here
Yeah.
minding my own business. You want to give me $1? Great. But go on. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut
Yeah,
you
no
off.
money or credit. It's like, and it's like, if Watch What Happens Live, yeah, sure, you could be a bartender, but I mean, I don't know. Like, I know the girl that was Tom Sandoval's assistant, was on it.
And
Yeah, and so her co-star was also the producer for Nick Viall's show. So they both have a similar thing where they've got these bosses they can't talk shit about. But like, yeah, it's just like, yeah, the ecosystem. Where do you stand in the ecosystem, and what can you do to get your name out there? So if that means going to shake up a few things, like I mean, if I did Watch What Happened Live's bartender, they'd be like, who the hell is this guy? Like, I don't know if it would pay off, but I would sure as hell try to get my, anything to get your name out there. You have no idea what the algorithm is doing. Closed captions or typing. Anytime your name is typed into closed captions, it's getting uploaded into Google and it is getting, your stuff slowly rising to the top. So you never know what's happening right below the surface. So anything you can do in entertainment to get out there can be good. At a level, you might go, look, I like Dave, but he only has 3 listeners. I don't have time to do his podcast. If you're not at a level where it's mutually beneficial, you don't mess with that. So, you kind of have to make those judgment calls. Like, is this worth my time?
it's good to say no to something. But like in the beginning, I'm sure you said, like, I said yes to, I mean, and listen, don't get me wrong. I still say there's no ego here. I say yes to like almost everything. But the fact that it's good to say no to certain things or just to be like, yeah, you have to give me something for this. Like, that's my
Yeah.
latest thing of like, you're calling me, I'm minding my own business. Like, I need something just out of principle, or the answer is no, and you can't use my interview.
Yeah.
Sorry. So
Yeah.
just,
Money
little,
talks.
right. Money talks. Again, we're not talking big bucks here, just the principle. So
And sometimes it's
I've
not
said
even
no to some
sometimes
things.
it's not even about the money. Like if I do a stand-up show that doesn't pay, that's fine. But if I find out the producer is making a lot of money on that stand-up show, it's like have a little respect. Like cut me some of that bread off. So it's and again, is that ego? Sure, but it's also like, you know, I could tell the same joke and make 1,500 bucks on one show and nothing on the next. It really depends on the structure of how ticket sales and things like that. But like, yeah, you just want a little respect. You know, Bravo's going to be making money, so you want to be paid accordingly if they're going to use one of your clips for their entertainment. Absolutely.
Right. And then, it's they never like I had the situation this season. I was on Salt Lake Housewives. Here's the thing, they never tell you why they need it. So they call them if they need it. You're like, whatever, you work it out. Then I watch the damn show and I'm like, this clip of my interview was a central storyline.
Pivotal storyline. Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't even know how you would have done this without it. I mean, hindsight is 2020, but I'm like, man,
Yeah,
I
the
should have.
screenwriter of Friends is getting paid, residuals for the end of time. If you just give away a podcast clip, you're giving away what could be the moment that ties together a whole scandal. No, I agree with you.
So you just want but somehow we talked a lot about Vanderpump Rules, but that's okay. You're gonna have to come back in the new year.
Anytime you need me.
I love my discussions with you because they're so top line. Like they're
By the way, this
so
was such a good
yeah,
chat. I might ask you if I can borrow some of it for my podcast because we were
you
so,
totally could.
yeah, this might be just so people can hear what you have to say because my audience obviously is
I mean, if you
really
want to
Jason.
put it out, I can just send you the whole thing. If you like, listen, I do shows where like once a month with Melissa Rivers, we do a show. She puts it out. I put it out. 1% of literally 0.001% of the time, someone will be like, oh, I already heard this. It never happens, just like a different audience. So if you want to use this, I can send you the
Totally.
whole thing.
You're fantastic. They would love you. Yeah, like the more you talk to people, the more you share an audience and the more you grow. Everyone grows from that. It only good can come. And I mean, unless my takes are so horrible, your audience is like, fuck that guy, I'm unsubscribing. I mean, it's like in most cases, nothing but good can come from continuing
No,
to
I like
the
I
shows.
like your takes because you think of it business wise like I do in big picture and just like where the industry is and where it's going. I'm not really good. That's my brand. Like I don't really pretend that these are like real people and they are real people, but I don't really pretend that what we're watching is reality. I like to go to the money of it, the
Well,
motivation,
that's
why
why,
people
like
are
I
doing
always say,
things.
corporations are psychopathic. So in the end, they don't care about your feelings. Like if
I say
if
it all the
if
time.
if Andy Cohen can make a couple bucks by walking over, James Kennedy's canceled body, he will. Like he will. If that's maybe he wouldn't do that if future cast members no longer want to be on Bravo. So maybe they do have to protect their cast to cast future. Like Bachelor has learned this with making everyone the villain. Now no one wants to be on the show. So there's a price to pay. But in the end, they don't care about you. This whole idea that your boss is your friend, no, they're not your family. They don't care about you. Take care of yourself.
But look at Maria. She's done well, right? I mean, I don't know. Do you get paid a lot to go on Villains? Maria was just on Villains with Teresa. I don't know if you get paid a lot for doing that. I
She's
don't
going to
know.
be make more money on her own, and by not becoming the Bachelorette, she's now 1 year closer to being completely off contract. Because when you're on the Bachelorette, they put you on a 2 year contract. So because of that, she'll be able to cash in sooner, and do it without having to get their approval. So I think it's a smart decision
And
to
somehow, what she goes on E's Villains, and they get some money from that. Is that what it is? They have to get money, or they have
that, but
to allow you?
just influencer money. Like she
Oh,
can't
I
start
get
her own
it.
podcast without their approval until a year after the show ends. When you're
Ugh,
the lead, it's 2 years. So that's a whole year. Like I know people that couldn't do a Taco Bell ad because the show wanted it to be, was in, one of their corporate sponsors might have been a different, taco company. So there's 70
ugh,
grand right there. And if your year long contract is only $120,000, I know that sounds like a lot of money, but
no,
some of these influencers make that in 2 days doing their own thing. So, people are
good for
realizing
her.
it's like either better pay me more. That's what it's great about Vanderpump is they don't, or Bravo in general. It doesn't seem like they have such exclusive contracts that Bachelor does. And Bachelor needs to open up the deal and be like, you know what? But they're not going to do that because they're attached to ABC. So they're not going to just let somebody, go on their show and then run dildo ads for the next year and a half while they're promoting that character. So they don't care. They don't really. It's too corporate is the problem.
Bravo, well, there's not so great either. I don't know if they have a say in, like, I think if you wanted to do dildo ads, you could, but they have a thing. It's called the Bethany clause because of Bethany Frankel, because
Right.
Bethany took 7,250 for her first season. Literally, she just paid 7,250. She was like, I will take less money. I think others got 15,000. And she's like, I want to carve out a clause that anything I do from the show, you get no part of. And they get no part of Skinny Girl. And because of that, they now get a part. Now, I don't know the nuances. Like Luann has a cabaret. Is a cabaret a product? Is a book a product? I don't know if Bravo, I would think so. So I don't know. Is Bravo still getting a part of Luann's cabaret? I don't know.
Probably if you have to use the credit of being a Real Housewife in your ads. So it might be
It's like
worth it
that's
to
their
give them,
argument. Their
they
argument
get
is like,
7%, but you use their name and likeness. Yeah, who knows?
and just one more thing. Besides the fact that I'm a lawyer, even though I don't practice anymore, I used to run HR departments and after being a lawyer. That's why my mind, so you're 100% right. People are like, oh, you think this way because you're a lawyer. It's not. It's because I ran HR. I would sit in meetings with the CEO, CFO, all these people that were like, fuck, she did this and she did that. Is she going to sue us? I mean, illegal discrimination, age, everything, every type of discrimination would come out of these people's mouth. And it was just like, get this one out of here, get that one out of here. They're costing us. Are they going to? I mean, so when you say corporations don't give one fuck about you, they do not give one fuck about you. They care about making money. You are everything illegal that's said behind closed doors with C-suite is said. They don't care.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I
They don't feel
sat there
emotions.
as the head of this position. You hear so much from that. This is where that's how I know it's all true. They just
You're
don't
bringing
care.
in the money, they love you. But when that dries up,
If you're bringing in the money, you could go out and kill someone. They don't care. They're like, how are we going to cover this up?
and that's why Vanderpump's a good example because the gold ran dry and they're going to wipe them out and put in a new, and go look for gold. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see how that goes. It's going to be a while, I guess, before, but I'm sure now once they start casting that show, there'll be deep dives into social media. No one was deep diving into Tom Sandoval before he was cast on the show. It's going to be a different world of kind of looking into everybody and, but find me eight unknowns that are ready to party and I'm sure people will watch.
People are going to watch it. I'll just say before we go, since you might use this on your podcast too, everyone could listen to Behind the Velvet Rope. It is 9 shows a week. I don't know how, I don't know why, but we're not changing it anytime soon. And we talk about mostly Bravo, but lots of reality TV and pop culture. So everyone who's listening to this on your platform can follow Behind the Velvet Rope and listen to me and give yourself a
Yeah,
shout out.
you're fantastic. I really love chatting with you. It's really been a nice rose for 2024 to have the chance to talk
We
about something outside of
connected.
Bachelor Nation. But yeah, my podcast, The Rush Hour with Dave Neal, 11 episodes a week, believe it or not, but they're
Oh my
short,
God.
25-minute episodes during the week and then one nice long interview on the weekend. But you can go catch me talking about pop culture, water cooler news. And to be quite frank, I talk about politics with a progressive bias. I don't have a problem saying that. So if you're into that, that's where I am.
I love it. And hey, political podcasts are huge. So, nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, got to share my opinion.
And I always say here, as far as politics, I don't talk about it. And I say all the time,